Stacey Washington joins us from Stacey on the Right. How you doing, Stacey?
I'm awesome. I always love hearing about President Obama failing at sports.
I believe he put on his bike helmet and his mom jeans, and he's going for a nice long bike ride now.
Well, you know, to each their own. Since he has so much free time on his hands, he doesn't have to create or pass budgets or do any of those other executive type, fun things. So, yeah, why not?
Well, he's going to Colorado on Wednesday this week to stump for gun control. So he's got he's got some downtime before then, I suppose. Now, there was a anti-gun rally in St. Louis over the weekend, right?
Yes, there was. There was quite a little to-do this weekend. 150 people attended, including yours truly, because whenever I hear anti-guns and it's in driving distance, I got to go see what these people are talking about.
So you said there's about 150 people who showed up?
Yes, including the people who were the speakers and the armed police force that they also had in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah, I found that ironic when I was walking up and I was catching a few pictures, just trying to get the lay of the land, and I noticed that there were stationed at intervals about 15 to 20 feet apart from each other in a circular formation, and then in clumps on each side of Keener Plaza, armed police officers. Some of them in uniform, some of them clearly, in plain clothes. But by plain clothes, I mean black shirt, black pants, bulletproof vest on the outside. The whole get up. So I'm looking and I'm thinking, why is there so much armed, protection here? And then over far, far on the left, towards the back, very inconspicuously, I see a very small contingent of 5 NRA members with signs, standing there with their buttons and signs that say, Second Amendment rights are important, you'll never take my guns, guns don't kill people, people kill people, things like that. Very quietly, just off to the back towards the left, just standing there, quietly protesting. So it was quite an interesting, the speakers ran the gamut from pastors all the way to a St. Louis University emergency room physician who regularly has to pull bullets out of children because St. Louis University's medical center is inside the city limits of St. Louis City, where we have a lot of violence. It's not gun violence. We have a lot of violence, period. And it's pretty typical for inner city. A lot of it is gang-related. But he was the last speaker, and he went into this whole tirade about turning over our sovereignty to the UN for the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which would take away parental rights and rights to own firearms and basically nullify the entire Bill of Rights and the amendments. But that's a separate issue. I posted about all of it on Stacey on the Right. People can go over there and, I'm kibitzing all over the place. But the point is, these people were just out to show their fancy shades and fancy, Tory Burch handbags and show the city folk, because they all live in the county, what true American patriotism and defending children is all about, which is grabbing guns out of the hands of people like me.
Yeah, and I understand, Stacey, you had an opportunity to at least try to ask one of these folks who were there, the mayor, some questions, right?
I did. Afterwards, he was still up on the kind of the podium area, and Jim Hoft and we attended the rally together, and we just approached him. We just walked up and introduced ourselves. I said that I'm not actually a member of the media. I'm not employed by any media organization, but I am a blogger and an activist and, school board member in Ladue. So I gave him, who I am.
Yeah.
Jim said who he was. And then Jim just, kind of popped his camera up, his regular iPhone.
Well, hang on here, Stacey. Before you go through this, we've got the video. Can we show it?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Right. Let's show this, and then we'll get Stacey's reaction here.
Media?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a private citizen,
Okay.
stay-at-home mom. I actually am an elected school board member in Ladue, but I attended today's rally, and I was listening to what was being discussed. Do you support the UN treaty that would kind of sign our sovereignty over that the last speaker was talking about?
I'm not familiar with that.
Might be good to ask the last speaker.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but
Ask
you're the
last
mayor
speaker.
of our city. That's why
I
I'm
am,
asking
but
you
I
about
was
it.
not making the remarks.
Okay, and then the second question I have for you is just looking at how this was
Let
handled
me ask you
today.
something real quick here.
Wow!
Wasn't that a great segue?
I love the look he exchanges with his aide. Like, is it okay for me to just cut her off and walk away?
But guess who that was?
Who
Let's
was it?
be clear. That is Maggie McCleary or something like that. Look her up. She works for Channel 4 News here in St. Louis. She is not an aide.
Oh, I'm
to the
sorry.
mayor.
That's a reporter.
She is an actual paid media representative. She works for Channel 4. She is employed by them to report news. And all of that rally, she shadowed him and gave him tips in his ear as to what to say and what to do.
Can we roll that? Can you just get that back where they're making the little eye rolls at each other? I just want to. Cameron said he thought she was an aide too. That's
what
amazing.
I thought.
All right, let's play the whole thing just one more time. I got to look at this eye roll again.
Media?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a private citizen,
Okay.
stay-at-home mom. I actually am an elected school board member in Ladue, but
Right.
I attended today's rally, and I was listening to what was being discussed. Do you support the UN treaty that would kind of sign our sovereignty over that the last speaker was talking about?
I'm not familiar with. I'm not familiar with that.
Might be good to ask the last
Yeah.
speaker.
Yeah.
Well,
Whoa,
Yeah,
you're the
that's
mayor.
why. Okay, so she might be good, Stacey, for you to ask that person rather than. Keep going.
I would have, but he exited pretty quickly after the first group of reporters accosted him. Before his feet hit the bottom of those stairs, they were like over there asking him questions about. He read the actual treaty, the entire thing. He read the bullet points of it to the entire gathering. I mean, he was pretty strong on it. So, yeah.
Wow. All right,
Yeah.
all right. I want to see the eye roll just one more time.
But
Ask
you're the
the last
mayor
speaker.
of our city. That's why
I
I'm
am,
asking
but
you
I
about
was
it.
not making the remarks.
Okay, and then the second question I have for you is just looking at
Ah!
how this was
Let me
handled.
ask you
Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
and you know what I was going to ask him, right?
Holy
The
cow.
question that everybody wants to know, which is, what are you going to do about the illegally obtained weapons? That was my second question, because he is the mayor of St. Louis City, and there are tons of crimes done with and without weapons. But specifically, if you're talking about guns, the majority of those crimes are gang-related and done with illegally obtained weapons. And so all of the things that were talked about at the rally were suggestions on universal background checks, magazine restrictions, clip restrictions, all kinds of improper use of terminology for guns, which I previously wouldn't have known, but thanks to NRA News, I've been buffing up. And it was just a hot mess of suggestions that would have done nothing but disarm me as a law-abiding citizen and done nothing with the gang-related crime. So I just wanted to ask him, what are you going to do about the illegally obtained weapons? But he wasn't going to have any of that, none of it. He was having none of that. So he quickly said he was going to ask the lady next to me a question and then didn't ask her a question. She smiled at him and said, yes, like, oh, I'm so happy to speak to you. And then he just kind of sidestepped her and went over to a couple of other normal media people that he knew, and then they escorted him off down the stairs and away. It was a pretty quick getaway.
Wow.
And I wasn't even, I wasn't packing or anything, and I'm taller than him by quite a bit, but I wasn't in his personal space. I wasn't intimidating him. In fact, there's another video shot from another angle where you can see my face, where I kind of get the shocked face and then start smiling after he just, totally walks away from me.
Unbelievable. All right, now listen. Hey, Stacey, I do want to let you know Maggie Crane
Yes, Maggie Crane.
is now Director of Communications for Mayor Slay. So
no longer with Channel 4.
no longer with Channel 4.
Wow. Okay. Well, I
Thankfully.
stand corrected. All I know of Maggie Crane is that she used to work for Channel 4, and I think briefly for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yes.
Yes.
And thankfully she now works for the mayor, because if she had been still in local television. Wow.
I know. So that's okay. Good for her. Good for her that she's actually doing that's her real job, and she was doing a good job of protecting him from scary, stay-at-home mom / question askers like myself.
Yes, yeah, exactly. She did a great job of deflecting you and the mayor there. And
maybe she'll work for me as well. Maybe I can get her part-time to work for me when people ask me hairy school board questions.
listen,
she might help me out?
members of the media only go to work for Democrat politicians. Okay.
That's a sticking point.
They don't leave journalism to go to work for conservatives.
Well, I'm not going to switch to the Democrats to get Maggie on the payroll, so I guess that's out.
Hey, Stacey. All right, so listen, where do you see things standing right now in St. Louis? I mean, 150 people, including the speakers, including the police. It sounds like there was not a huge, massive grassroots turnout in support for more gun control laws there.
Nowhere close. I mean, we've had thousands of people under the arch for Tea Party rallies. We've had thousands of people downtown living in the downtown Keener Plaza area and spilling over into other areas of downtown during the Occupy season. So clearly in St. Louis, if you have something of interest, people will come down and attend. they don't have the backing. And I think it's really because, we're in flyover country. Gun ownership is extraordinarily high here, especially in the county. That's why the crime rate is so low. And people just aren't interested in a bunch of women from the suburbs trundling into the city to have a rally about grabbing their guns and their magazines and their clips, quote finger, their clips and their assault weapons. People just don't want to hear it right now. There's so many other more important things that we're dealing with. But I think Mayor Slay was trying to reach out to a constituency there, and it totally backfired on him because this little clip of me asking him a question, Dana Lash put it up on Red State, and I was tweeting it out. She was tweeting it. Everyone it's become a little bit of a phenomenon over the past couple of days because people are wondering why he couldn't just answer my questions. Why did he run? So it hasn't been a good PR weekend for him. And overall, I think they did not have a successful event. If you look at the turnout, it was just a flop. So I see us continuing on the path we're on right now, which is nobody's doing anything about gun violence in the city, and people in the county are clinging to their guns and their Bibles and their religion, and that's about it.
All right. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the program today, Stacey, and look forward to talking to you again very soon.